Hey, hope everyone is doing well. Got a little article here today for you, and this one's about the country of Poland. Not sure if you've ever heard of that country. I think like 40 million people live there. It's in the heart of Europe. We'll find out. It's one of the first lines. Whoops. That's one of the first lines of the article. So this is countries of the world, Poland, and this has some actually very difficult vocabulary in it. So there's also a Quizlet that I'll ask you to practice with to learn some of these vocabulary words. But right now, we will read this together. After you can practice with those words. Later on in the week, we'll have a game with those words, a Quizlet live game. And then there'll be a quiz that you can take either now or not now, but when it's released or later if you want. But let's get into the article first here. So countries of the world, Poland. You can see a nice little picture here of Krakow. It's a real, I thought this was a painting at first, but I think it's real. Those people look real. The buildings look a little fake, but the people look real. It's one of the oldest cities in the country, Krakow. Krakow. So I know this like is lower elementary school to upper elementary school. The text level is 6. I don't know though. We'll go over some of these words. It's some pretty difficult reading here. Poland is located at the heart of the European continent. I think they also could have said in the heart right there, but they didn't. The country has been a meeting place not only for cultures and ideas, but also for conflict and confrontation. Those will be two of our words that we will study. Conflict and confrontation are really, really close, but confrontation brings conflict to a whole nother level. Poland's borders have changed many times over the centuries. Its present borders were set after World War II ended in 1945. Poland has 7 neighbors: Germany, Slovakia, the Czech Republic, Lithuania, Belarus, Ukraine, and Russian Kaliningrad. I've never heard of that place, but I don't know why they didn't just say Russia. Russia has a few different, they're not quite independent, autonomous regions, but they do have some provinces like Kalmykia, which is definitely a different part of Russia, but still part of Russia. Maybe that's why they call it that. Poland has a variety of striking landscapes. We'll talk about what striking is a little later, but really catch your eye. They range from the sandy beaches of the Baltic Sea coast in the north to the rolling central lowlands, to the snow-capped, I think I messed up on that word, and the rolling central lowlands, to the snow-capped peaks of the Carpathian and Sudeten mountains in the south. Poland has more than 1,300 lakes throughout the country. We'll also talk about rolling too. Rolling. So not, we'll also talk about snow-capped. So not points, like snow-capped peak of a mountain, top of a mountain. Rolling hills, they're a little flatter. Rolling hills. And look at some things about Poland. Map. This is like that's Denmark, that's Germany, that's the Baltic Sea, that is Austria, that's Hungary. No. Is it Hungary? I think Hungary is a little further down. Sorry, that's not, that might be Slovakia. But it is located right in the heart of Europe. You can see the national animal is the white-tailed eagle, a little different from our bald eagle. There's the flag, and I do not know how to pronounce properly the currency. Zloty, I think. Make that a little smaller if we want. Nature. Poland's large tracts of forested land provide refuge for many animals. Refuge is safety, including wild boar and European bison called a bison. I know that starts with a W. I did not know this animal until I started researching this article, but a bison is basically what they call it right here. It's a European bison, a bison. Once extinct in the wild, the bison was reintroduced using animals bred in captivity. Poland's Balowice forest is home to the world's largest population of these rare bovines. So bovines is like a type of animal. So these bison, buffalo, even cows would be considered bovines. Poland's forests are the ideal habitat for many of Europe's endangered species. They include the brown bears, wild horses, chamois, goats. I believe that's French, chamois, goats, Eurasian lynxes, and the continent's largest population of gray wolves. Wars and pollution, however, have taken a toll on Poland's land. It's really hurt it. The Polish land has been hurt by pollution and wars, and have hurt the population of animals that rely on these habitats. And then they think that you might have trouble with habitat. You can always, if it's underlined, you can always click on that, and it will show you habitats are places where animals naturally live. So our habitat is Auburn, Maine, most likely. Maybe Lewiston. I've heard a couple people live in Lewiston. The government is trying to reverse the damage. There are now 23 national parks in Poland and 1,269 nature reserves. There are also 100 bird sanctuaries. We have a bird sanctuary in Lewiston, not too far from my house, called Thorncraig. And a sanctuary is a safe place for animals. So a bird sanctuary, piece of land, can't be used for anything but those birds. Now, or nature. I mean, people might be able to walk through the bird sanctuary, but you can't build a factory there. Can't even build a house. It's like just a place for birds to live, a bird sanctuary. People and culture. Religion is a very important part of Polish life. The majority of the population, about 87%, is Roman Catholic. In 1978, Cardinal Karol, I don't know how to say this last name, Wojtyła, probably wrong, Archbishop of Krakow. We talked about Krakow being one of the oldest cities. Unfortunately, if you ever study the Holocaust, you may know of Krakow as being a place where there was a concentration camp. Became the first ever Polish pope. He took the name John Paul II. He was the head of the Catholic Church until his death in 2005. Pope John Paul II was very famous when I was growing up in like the 1980s. Government and economy. Somebody actually attempted to assassinate John Paul II, but they didn't get it. They didn't get him. He survived. And then he drove around in the Pope Mobile. It was a little car. You could see the Pope, but you couldn't shoot at the Pope. It was like bulletproof glass. Government and economy. Under communism, Poland became a highly industrialized country. If you don't know what industrialized is, this yellow highlighted sentence will help you. Mining, steelwork, machinery production are still the major industries there. So industries, factories making stuff. Changing from communism to a free market economy, we talked about communism, I think, in the second quarter. Basically a government where no matter how hard you work, you earn the same amount of pay. Everyone is equal. Free market economy is what we have. If you create a business, the sky could be the limit. You could create a business like Google or Amazon and just you have more money than everybody else. We have also talked about monopolies too. Monopolies are illegal in this country. In the 1980s, caused much upheaval in Poland. So upheaval in your life. If your parents divorce and you have to move, that could really be some upheaval in your life. Anytime there's disruption Anytime there's a change and not a good change, we might call it upheaval. Last week, we talked about some tornadoes that went through the state of Alabama that caused major upheaval. People's lives were really disrupted because they might need a new house to live in. Even today, though, most people are better off than they were under Soviet rule. Wages are low and unemployment is high. Since joining the European Union in 2004, Poland's economy has grown rapidly. Rapidly? Really quickly. Pretty good synonym for that. Rapidly? Really quickly. Did you know Nicholas Copernicus was an astronomer born in Poland? He is famous for his theory that said the Earth revolved around the sun. There was another guy way before him, Ptolemy. The name actually starts with a P. Ptolemy said that the Earth was the center of the universe. It was a geocentric universe, geo meaning Earth. And then he found out, Copernicus found out, wait, no, actually the sun. That's the center of our solar system. Earth goes around the sun, not the other way around. So one time, people thought Earth was the center of the universe. We found out, nope, we're just a little small part of the universe. History. Poland's first civilization dates back to about 2000 BC, but it wasn't until AD 966 that the region's tribes became united under the Slavic chief Mstico, the first prince of Polska. I apologize to anybody who's Polish, probably did not get that right. In the late 1500s, Poland and Lithuania joined together and formed a large, powerful commonwealth with elected kings. A commonwealth. So it doesn't really actually have anything to do with money or wealth, but there are some states in the United States that are not called state. I mean, they're states, but they're also commonwealths. In Massachusetts, right near us, you might hear it called Commonwealth of Massachusetts. So it's exactly what they say in the article. A commonwealth is formed by many different people for one common good. They have something in common with each other, so they form a government with elected kings. By the late 1700s, however, Poland had been weakened by a series of wars with its neighbors. 1795, it was conquered and divided up among Russia, Prussia, which is now Germany, and Austria. Poland ceased to exist as a country for 123 years. So it stopped being a country for 123 years. In 1918, after World War I, Poland was restored as a country. It was brought back, restored. We sometimes will use restored. I believe that's one of our words when something is brought back to life. For example, let's say you got a very old chair from your grandmother, and it had been beaten up over the years, but you wanted to pay to have it restored. Somebody might repaint it. They might sand it down, make it look nice. Restored. It's a little different from renovated. If something is renovated, it's actually made newer. Restored means bring it back to what it once was. So that's that chair that was a little dingy, you restore it, it becomes like it once was. Old, but new at the same time. But just 21 years later, Germany and the Soviet Union attacked, intent on dividing Poland between them. The aggression marked the beginning of World War II. It led to nearly 45 years of Soviet occupation. And this is an interesting word here, too. A lot of times when we think of occupation, we think of, somebody's job. My occupation is that I'm a teacher. But occupation also can mean like occupied, like they ruled over that country. And September 1st, 1939 is a date that's pretty famous because that's when Germany invaded Poland, starting World War II. Ah, that's Slovakia. I got confused. You see that? I said, I was wondering what country is that? So it's Slovakia. Sorry. And the Czech Republic. Not even Austria. Come on, man. I should know my European geography a little bit better than that. There you go. And we just talked about Lithuania and Poland becoming a country at one point, a commonwealth. Yeah, they're separate countries now. In 1980, Polish workers began protesting communist rule under the now famous union banner of solidarity. Solidarity, where everyone becomes one. So all of the workers in Poland, or a lot of them, said, communism, that's bad. We want more money. We want more freedom. And guess what? It happened. In 1989, after nearly a decade of clashes between the government and solidarity activists, democratic elections were held. Democratic, power to the people. So the people get to decide in a democracy who is going to be their leader. The United States is a democracy. And the country was renamed the Republic of Poland. In 1990, the Polish Communist Party was dissolved. So you can dissolve salt in water, and the Polish Communist Party was dissolved. It went away pretty quickly. Maybe not all at once, but it went away pretty quickly, dissolved. A little different from ceased to exist. Ceased to exist would be a little quicker, dissolved, and a little bit more gradual. So you can see from 1989, and then finally in 1990. So it went away pretty quickly, but not completely quickly. All right. Ooh, one day maybe we should do Germany. Maybe we should do Russia. Let me know if you're watching this on YouTube in the comments section. What would you rather do? Or we could do South Korea. Ooh, so many choices. So many choices. All right. I hope this helped. Gain a little knowledge, gain a little bigger brain. Thanks for watching.